Finally. Been waiting for this bad boy all day. Wait a sec. Aren't you supposed to sit down when you eat? Or is it up? Man, this is making me feel like...
You do? Get up. You do? Get up. You do?
Yeah. Yo, 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 what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health, How to Eat edition. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. This week, we're diving into whether you should stand or sit while you eat. And me, being on Team Stand for pretty much the last 15 years, may not like the final outcome. So first off, there aren't many studies that dive into whether sitting or standing directly affects your health. They're hard to come by. But let's talk about what we do know from the research that is available out there. First, for the majority, when we sit, we tend to eat less. We tend to eat slower, we tend to be more focused on our food, thus having more time for that satiety signal to kick in, yada, 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 yada. I don't think anyone's ever used yada, yada, yada when talking about sitting and eating.
We went out to dinner, I had the lobster bisque, we went back to my place, yada, yada, yada. I never heard from him again.
Okay, but what about when we stand? Well, research indicates that when we eat while standing, food tends to pass through our system faster and digest faster. Apparently gravity has something to do with it. We also tend to eat faster. We tend to be less focused on our food and a little too focused on the many distraction devices in our hand. This leads many to overeating and being overall less satisfied with the meal we consumed. Now, all of that was what the few studies out there have pointed out. But to be realistic, this is nothing to really claim anything conclusive off of. You know that. So before we go any further, I want to pause and I want to talk about one of the too common occurrences that many of us experience, and that is eating while stressed. Whether the stress is actually causing you to chow down or it's just present while you're about to dig into some grub, it could and probably is equally problematic. Here's what's happening under the covers. When we're stressed out, our body is trying to mobilize energy. The fastest and most efficient way to get this energy, if it's not actively available as glycogen in the cell, is by breaking down fat and converting it to energy. And this energy needs to be mobilized quickly. Our body doesn't want to go searching far and long into the subcutaneous fat tissue to pull this energy out. They need something close and available. And that makes it turn to our visceral fat that lines our organs, that deep fat. And that's one of the potential places we mobilize energy when we're stressed. Recent research has pointed out that when we're eating while stressed, our body wants to store that excess energy someplace close in anticipation of needing it quickly because you are in this stressed out state with these stress glucocorticoid hormones flowing through your body. So what does it do? This excess energy that you just consumed that the body doesn't immediately need, it looks to store in visceral fat first, which is the type of fat that puts you at the highest cardiometabolic risk and risk for metabolic disease in general. So now that we have that little tidbit of information, let's go back to the standing and sitting question. According to research published in the Journal of Consumer Research, standing, even for a few minutes, causes stress. Gravity from standing forces blood to your lower body, making your heart work faster to bring that blood back up to your head and neck regions. This chain reaction continues, causing your body to release the stress hormone cortisol. Yeah. And by the way, this study also found out that standing up makes it harder for your taste buds to work well. This means you're less likely to fully and completely taste the food that you are eating, and thus makes it less enjoyable. I mean, no one gets excited about the food when it's in your digestive system. Everyone cares about the process, smelling it, tasting it, hearing it. Hopefully it's not making any noises. Eating, chewing, and all that good stuff. If you're eating while watching this, you know what to do. So with all that said, here is my hypothesis and premise on why I've started sitting down when I eat. And it's simple. Standing up while eating can potentially cause your body to store excess energy in less than optimal places, more in that visceral area. Like we just reviewed, standing up is a light stressor on the body, and it could cause the release of cortisol, the common stress hormone, into circulation. And eating while stressed or eating while stress hormones are high in the bloodstream can potentially cause your body to store all the excess energy from your meal in a less than optimal way and place, more in that visceral area. This is why I've recently changed my habits, a habit that I've had for like the past 15 years of standing and eating to sitting down. Prior to a meal, I tried to sit down and breathe, focusing on activating my parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest nervous system, so I can consume my food in the least stressful manner, or try. All you can do is try. So take a minute, sit down, breathe, and then stuff your face. All right, so what are some tips and tricks that you can implement to try to make sure you sit down a little bit more while you're eating meals, at least the big meals? So here's what I've been recently aiming to do for each meal. And by no means am I 100% successful at this. I would say at this point, I'm probably batting 50-50, 60-40, something like that. It's a work in progress. So first, I take my meal to the table. I sit down, I make sure that my phone and my laptop and essentially any connectivity to the outside world is out of reach. I take a few big, deep belly breaths to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. In and out through the nose. A cool thing I like to add when I remember is to express some gratitude towards the food on the plate and the fact that I'm about to go to Nourish Town, USA. You could exchange that last part with wherever you're from. Then I start eating. Slow and controlled. I aim for 20 chews per bite. Another nifty trick I've been playing around with is eating with a non-dominant hand. This slows you down drastically and stimulates some neural circuits that are weak or possibly non-existent. And I try to repeat this every meal I have, or at least every big meal or main meal for the day. Now, am I executing perfectly on this Mona Lisa of stress-free daily eating each and every meal? Of course not. This thing called life tends to put us in odd, weird, and challenging situations that really prevent us from batting 1,000 here. But every time that you execute on this, it feels so damn good. The food tastes better, you're less likely to overeat. I've really enjoyed the experience. I think it has made a difference. It has me feeling more satisfied. So if you're a stander while you eat, or you're a stressed eater, which I would say pretty much all of us are at some point during the day, week, month, at some point, it just happens. Give this a go. It's really about channeling that parasympathetic state, and you can do that by deep, controlled breaths. Sit down, relax, breathe. Man, all this talking, it's got me hungry. I'm just gonna, come on guys, I'm just joshing you. Catch you next week.